But right from the get-go, once we met Glenn, we just knew that he was the one that would be able to deliver what we were expecting, which was this beautiful home that we've now residing in.
Well, the communication was great because once a week you got a client report, which gave you even what they talk about at their toolbox meetings, things that have happened, any incidents, things that were happening the next week as to which trades would be on site. And we all got a copy of the, you call them a critical path analysis, which is just a chart. So we could see what was happening the next week and what didn't happen last week. You could sort of keep an eye on it that way and ask a few questions if we had to. But you just look at the chart and you could find out, and we could plan our week around that as well.
And with these trades...
The trades were good.
Trades were good. Communication was excellent. Couldn't ask for better. And if there was a hiccup or there was something that Glenn could see or was highlighted, it was back to us to see whether or not we were agreeable with that decision or we needed to change. And it was great to be involved.
You could guarantee on a Monday morning there'll be a lineup of cars out the front, and the most we had in one day was 14 trade vehicles.
And with all the build, going on, and with all the vehicles within the street, it didn't really impact on the neighbours very much. That everyone was aware that there were neighbours either side of us, opposite, to allow them to be able to park their vehicles on the street, and they didn't have an issue at all. We were the talk of the street. Very impressed with how the build went, how everything flowed, and that there was a succession of trade after trade after trade. There wasn't any lagging, and that the site was nice and clean, and they were very, very impressed. Kept saying, "You got a good builder, got a good builder." Invariably, you'll get those that feel that they need to know whether or not you're running on time and within budget. And truthfully, I just said, yes, we're on time and on budget.
I think it was his presentation at the very start. It listed everything that was required, because he told us at the time about to do the quote, it would take, I think it was about 8 weeks to do the quote, and it was about 8-9 weeks. That was no problem. The quote came through, we looked at it, and we could see every detail that he had put in as to the PC items and the PS items as well. So we knew exactly what we were in for.
But it was the initial meeting. I just knew there was that rapport. Glenn didn't hide anything at all. You were just so upfront.
We had 2 other quotes, and one arrived far too quick and it was far too cheap, and we just figured this chap's going to go bust. Nothing was highlighted, and the second quote was just straight out of our book. Yeah, here's your quote. Yes or no. There's nothing, no presentation required. But
there was no rapport either.
No, but Glenn just went out of his way to do the quote and the presentation, and it was about 3 hours or 4 hours he was here doing it. So we just knew that it was we didn't tell him at the time, but we knew that was the one.
It was all worth it. Well worth it.
I suppose if anyone's on the market to get a home built, K2 Homes is probably the one to go for, because it's just everything's laid out. You know exactly what you're up for and what's going to happen in the future, and at what time your house is going to be finished, or pretty close to that time.
It's the communication.
Yeah, communication and no mucking around. Oh, total value for money, yeah. No, but you pay for what you get, and we think we are sure that we've got value for money. It is a beautiful home.
And the attention to detail, very much attention to detail.